Real. We back at it again. Israelite World News, Kentucky 8 Podcast, a Kentucky 8 Podcast. You know how we do. Getting it in on all the big stories on the world stage. Here we go. New Texas bill drops requirements for educators to teach that white supremacy, the KKK, and eugenics were morally wrong. All right, what we got to understand about this is what these people are talking about. Um, they're not talking about saying it is wrong. They're dropping the requirement that they have to say is wrong. Basically leaving it open to them for them to say or not say it was morally wrong. They can say, well, it was morally a gray area. It was morally this. That's what they leaving it open for. Why? Because the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. And he is never going to admit his crimes. Last week, The Root reported that the Texas State Senate voted 18-4 to pass Senate Bill 3, another white fragility bill masquerading as anti-critical race theory legislation. The GOP in Texas, which is fast becoming the sanctuary state where terrible and oppressive laws go to thrive, wants to ditch requirements for teachers to teach lessons on subjects such as Cesar Chavez, which was a Mexican who fought for Mexican people. So they don't have to teach nothing about him. The history of Native Americans, they can just get rid of Native American history. They ain't got to worry about that. The women's suffrage movement and the writings of Martin Luther King Jr., which is surprising considering how often white conservatives try to make MLK black people's collective father figure. It's almost as if they realized MLK didn't fuck with the whites like that either. Look at that. Look at that. They even getting rid of Martin Luther King in the schools. Anyway, it turns out the bill Texas Republicans are pushing and imposing on educators manages to be worse than we thought. According to HuffPost, it's more than a bill that drops requirements to teach anything contradictory to the narrative that America is and has always been a utopia of racial harmony, equal opportunity, unequivocal acceptance of patriarchy, and white people not being criticized for colonizing the world to steal spices they now refuse to adequately use in their food. In fact, Senate Bill 3 ensures students don't have to be taught that white supremacy is morally wrong. It must be a black person, a nigga, who wrote this article, because he's giving it to him. All right. Senate Bill 3 passed last Friday drops most mentions of people of color and women from the state's required curriculum. That includes eliminating a requirement that students be taught the history of white supremacy, including, but not limited to, the institution of slavery, the eugenics movement, and the Ku Klux Klan, and the ways in which it is morally wrong. Wow. So they don't got to teach that no more. They're going to try to get rid of all that. Hey, look, it was America. Everybody was great. We had the Nina Pinta and the Santa Maria, and look, that's all you need to know. Ellis Island, black people; America, white people, great. That's all you need to know, according to these devils. So you see what's going on in Texas. They're more racist than they talk about. Forget about the fact that the Texas Republicans want to give teachers agency to take a giant whiteout pen to a huge chunk of American history. Can we just talk about how oddly specific this provision is? I mean, Republicans have always had a star-spangled rod up their asses about how American slavery is taught, but specifically including the KKK and the nation's eugenics practices, it's a little too on the nose in sending the message that telling the truth of America is decidedly an un-American thing. You know what I mean? See, this is what they got going on. So yeah, this is what's going on. All right. Uh, they basically taking out black anything bad about black people. Basically, trying to erase and rewrite America's entire history. Like, not even trying to leave out some things. They're just trying to basically rewrite the entire history by basically not teaching on it and leaving it and not being have to say it was anything was wrong about it. Let's see. But specifically including the KKK in the nation's eugenics practices is a little too low on the nose in sending the message that telling the truth about America is decidedly un-American. What if a student directly asks about the KKK? Would that student's teacher be legally allowed to respond? You mean the wholesome organization of bed sheets for clothes and crosses for kindling enthusiasts? What about them? Of course, Texas lawmakers were at least smart enough not to include the words critical race theory in a bill that doesn't actually have much to do with CRT. I mean, what do you think Texas is? Oklahoma? But that doesn't change the way an academic study on how race affects law is being fought tooth and nail by people who are literally trying to sign white feelings into laws everyone would be required to follow. This is what this country is coming to. They're basically coming to saying, hey, forget about all this stuff. We're not even gonna worry about it. We're gonna erase it from school just so we can make uh Caucasian people look good or make sure they don't look bad. This is what we're dealing with. This is what you're dealing with. All right. Democratic State Senator Judith Zafrin denounced the bill's provision as an attempt to tie the hands of our teachers and asked, how could a teacher possibly discuss slavery, the Holocaust, or the mass shootings at the Walmart in El Paso and blah, blah, blah without giving deference to any one perspective? So basically, they don't want you to talk about this. They don't want you to speak on it. They want to erase it from history. And our children aren't going to know a damn thing if you leave it up to being taught by the oppressor. They're not going to know a damn thing about our race, our history, our struggle. You're going to run into black kids and talk about black people wasn't slaves. That's we don't know, but that's true. What? I never heard of that. Black people what fought a civil rights movement was being treated unfairly. I never heard of that. I thought that's only started happening in today's time. I didn't know what happened back then. That's what you're going to run into. And it's not going to be pretty. That's why it's time for us to educate our own children. It's time for us to put our own children first instead of letting the oppressor educate our children. And he's doing a horrible job at it. And he's going to do even worse. He know he got a short time left. There's not much time left in this empire. He knows he has but a short time to rule, and he wants to make the last of his rulership as nice as possible for him. Regardless if it's the truth, regardless if your children suffer and don't know what the hell is going on, and don't get a proper education about their own people, they don't care. All right. So that's what's going on in Texas. And you know how America rolls. America's the type of place that America's the type of place that um it will let it work in one state and see how it does how well it goes over, but then they'll take it to every state. They'll take it to every state. Once they figure it works and it's cool and they got a way to suppress the information, they'll bring it over to every state. Okay? And then every state you won't be learning shit in no state. You know what I mean? That's what they're going for. That's what's gonna happen. All right, let's get to this next story. Hold on. Let's do it like this. All right. Delaware Delaware police sued after plainclothes officers blocks woman's car, drags her out before realizing she was not the suspect. Thought I was about to be kidnapped, the sister said. Boy, oh boy. Man, the terror that we got to live under. A black woman has filed a lawsuit against the Delaware Division of State Police after she was blockaded and held at gunpoint by plainclothes officers last month until they realized she was not the suspect they were looking for. She's 20 years old, was the victim of assault and battery, use of excessive force, and has suffered extreme emotional suffering as a result of the ordeal. Now imagine this: some Caucasian devils hop out the car, arrest, and block your car in, arrest you, and they dressed in regular clothes. How traumatizing that would be. You thought you figured she probably thought she was about to get lynched. On June 24th, Watson was leaving a BP gas station in Wilmington, Delaware at around 5:25 p.m. Around the same time, officers were looking for a black male and female suspect in a dark gray Nissan. Watson is 4 feet 10 and was driving a light gray Nissan Max Altima. They looking for a Nissan Maxima, whatever. The officers were in unmarked vehicles and plain clothes. She has not been able to learn the names of the policemen who blockaded her vehicle. She's only 4 foot 10, a small, petite sister. And they come in snatching her, grabbing her up, and in regular clothes, in regular cars. Now, if she would have been fighting back and shooting their ass, they would have said what? Then how they would have acted. Then they would act like she was wrong when you got these plainclothes people hopping out in front of her. According to the lawsuit obtained by Atlanta Black Star, Vehicle 1 then stopped and reversed directly into the front of the plaintiff's vehicle. At the same time, another vehicle struck Watson's car from behind, and a third vehicle pulled up on Watson right and left side. So they basically pinned her in from all sides, crashing her car up. Officers exited their vehicles, guns drawn, according to the suit, and one noted verbally that there was no one else in the car with Watson, despite the fact that both of her front windows were already completely down. One officer broke the driver's side rear window of Watson's car before she was dragged out the vehicle. Watson asked what happened, and officers pressed a taser to her neck and said, "I'm going to fuck you up," according to the suit. Then an officer eventually said, "I think we have the wrong person." Look at that. Look at that. These damn devils, man, terrorizing our people. Breaking every amendment, every damn constitutional right, every civil right we fought for. They don't give a damn. When it's a black person, take them out the car, beat their ass, treat them how you want to do, put a taser to their neck, say, "I'm going to fuck you up," and everything. To a little girl, a young woman, 20-year-old girl. I bet they grabbed her and pinned up and down and put all their body weight on her and every damn thing. Fucking cowards, man. Cowards, bullies, what they are. Nothing but a bunch of bullies. Beating on little girls and young women. The Lord have a day with them. They'll have their day in court. The officers returned and drove away without offering Watson an apology. Watson is seeking compensatory and punitive damages on the grounds that she was falsely imprisoned and her Fourth Amendment right to be secure in her person against unreasonable searches and seizures was violated. Says she thought she was about to be kidnapped. The president of the Delaware NAACP, oh God, here go these Negroes. NAACP ain't did nothing for black people since black people could even knew about them. He said was driving by when he heard Watson cry out and stepped in. "When is enough enough?" he asked at the press conference, adding, "What do we do as black people in the city of Wilmington? Just lay down and die?" Look, they don't have no answers, man. Stop dealing with the NAACP. Come to the UPK. ISUP need to come, and we'll tell you what to do. We'll break it down for you. This guy don't have a clue what to do. He's saying he asking people what should we do, and you're supposed to be the leader. The attorney for Watson said the woman wasn't offered victim support after the ordeal, but a sergeant lieutenant apologized and offered Watson money to get her car fixed. Her attorneys have been unable to determine whether the incident is being investigated by state police. Watson explained that she's still suffering emotional trauma almost a month after the incident. "I can't even drive without thinking something's going to happen to me," Watson said. "I'm so scared, and I did nothing wrong." Look what we're dealing with in this hellhole. Look what we're dealing with in this hellhole called America. In this hellhole called America, they got police in plainclothes vehicles backing up, crashing all four sides of our car, putting tasers to our neck, breaking our windows, busting us out, and then say, "Oh yeah, it's the wrong guy," and then drive off without a peep. Then just drive off like nothing happened. See what we're dealing with? This is the devil. We don't have to die to meet the devil, like Captain Katazar said in the song. Former Nevada sundown town stands by siren amid reckoning. Now here you go, a sundown town, which basically means, and they had a siren for it too, which basically means if that siren come on, damn near like that movie The Purge. If you black or Hispanic, you better be out of town, because we gonna kill your black ass. We're gonna hang you. We're gonna lynch you. We're gonna beat you. We're gonna murder you. We're gonna set you on fire. This is who we got to live with. This is what in this country. This is who we got to live with every day. And then you wonder why black people are suffering crazy out their damn mind. Look who we live next door to. People who openly will say, "Well, look, we'll murder you if you in town." We got to live under this oppression, under this fear, and no police are gonna do anything about it either. Police probably gonna join in. They're gonna join in and burning you alive, killing you, skinning you, cutting you up, stabbing you, beating you to death. Every evil, wicked thing they could think to do, they have done, and will try to continue to do. Let's read more on the story. A red siren perched atop a small town's volunteer fire department sounds every night at 6 p.m., sending a piercing noise echoing through the ranches and towns of northern Kansas Carson Valley, including Dresserville, a community governed by the Washoe tribe of Nevada and California. To Soroki, the tribe's chairman, the sound is a reminder of a racism and violence inflicted upon Native Americans, a living piece of historical trauma with an enduring legacy. He requested officials in the town of Minden silence the region's last remaining siren last summer. So they still got the siren going off every night, just like in the Purge. They gonna purge you of black. They gonna purge niggas. That's what they trying to purge. That's what the Purge was all about. It's not just about the siren, he said. The siren is a reminder of a lot of people out here, especially in Dresslerville, of that past. He said that the tribal community just 5 miles south, where stories of brutality have been passed down generations. Hold on a sec. Minden is one of the experts believe where thousands of American communities where discriminatory sundown laws were in effect, either through formal ordinances or unwritten rules enforced with intimidation and injury. The town siren has blazed since 1921, served as a warning to non-white people that they were required to leave town before the sun faded behind the rugged mountaintops of the Carson Range. Smokey said elders remember seeing law enforcement jailing Native Americans and residents attacking non-white people. After that siren go on, they ready to attack. Those sirens are a reminder of that history, and the fact that they are still used indicates that our present is not too far removed from its past. A nationwide reckoning over racism in the United States erupted last summer following George Floyd's murder and sparked protests in large cities across the country and in small, mostly white towns like Minden. It revived a 15-year-old debate over the siren and whether it should be silenced. Let's go. So this has to do with racism. We've all heard of what a sundown town is. In this town, they still have sirens to prove it. They still have the sirens going off 6 p.m. to let you know if you black or Hispanic or Native American, you better get the hell out of town or get the hell out of Dodge or be indoors. Because if you are found or caught, it reminds me of the scriptures. where it says, "We'll be as a chased roe, and anyone that is caught will be thrust through, or he that is found will be thrust through," which means we like a chased deer, and anyone that's caught while we running for our damn lives, we're gonna be thrust through, which means we're gonna be stabbed, shot, and killed. All right. So let's move on to the next story. That's the history of the sundown towns, and it's still going on today. All right. Let's get to the next story. Simone Biles' withdrawal is more impressive than winning. As you know, Simone Biles dropped out of the Olympics, citing mental issues, uh, which is her beautiful right to do. When we look back at Simone Biles' shocking exit on Tuesday from the U.S. Olympic women's gymnastics team final, and look back, we will over and over again for the days and weeks to come. We will do so with the benefit of hindsight. I truly do feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders at times. I know I brush it off, and it seems like the pressure doesn't affect me, but damn, sometimes it's hard. Ha ha ha. The 24-year-old gymnast had apologetically revealed on Instagram after the qualification round this weekend, where she was described by Wall Street Journal as having made an uncharacteristic number of significant errors, said that about her dropping out, that is the happiest moment of her career. She said, honestly, her time off is the happiest moments of her career. The warnings were all there. Biles has not hidden the immense suffocating pressure that she's been under. Still, there will be those who slam her withdrawal, the circumstances of which are, at the time of publication, still murky, but were initially described as a mental issue, as being evidence of her fear. It is exactly the opposite. What Simone did on Tuesday is more impressive than winning. So as you go down, it talks about her mental stress that she was under, the mental fatigue that she was under. And damn, can you blame her? How many of you how many of you want to take a day off of work? Pretty much all of you want to take some days off of work. Well, that's what she's trying to do. And she's got a very tough job, which is jumping and flipping and acrobating for these damn devils, man. Trying to satisfy damn devils on the world stage. Yeah, it's stressful. That's a horrifying thing. These people already allowed her to be molested for years and years. She was molested for years and years under these damn Olympics in gymnastics, and they've already allowed that. They already let that happen. So fuck these damn Olympics. Our people are more important than these Olympic Games. This story here. Sha'Carri Richardson, Alan Hasdick, and our unending forgiveness for white male athletes. I read into this story earlier. It's a pretty long one. Basically, Sha'Carri Richardson was suspended from the Olympics for smoking marijuana. All right. And she's a black woman. Now, there's a white male athlete named Hadzik, who does fencing, Olympic fencing. Now, the problem with this Hasdick character is he's been accused of molesting, sexually abusing, sexual intimidation, predation on multiple accounts from young women. Multiple accounts. You got this black woman who was suspended from the Olympics for lifting up her fist because of a black power homage. Right? And that was in 2019. And she was on probation for a year and lost thousands of dollars in sponsorships. All the while, this white male has been accused on multiple occasions of sexual misconduct. He even has criminal charges filed against him, or he will soon. And what they have decided is they'll put him on a separate plane and put him on a hotel that's hours away from the rest of the girls, or from girls, just so he can be in the Olympics. But they're not kicking him out or putting him on probation when he has all these accusations against him for sexual assault. But as you know, he's a white male, therefore he's going to get that white male privilege. This is white privilege. You're seeing it right here in your face. They're not trying to hide it anymore. They're not trying to make a big deal about it. They're just putting it right in your face. Let's move to the next story. German gymnasts wear unitards because women don't need to be half naked to compete. After Norwegian women's beach handball team was fined for protesting sexist uniform standards by competing in matching wearing shorts, there's been a focus on inequality between men's and women's sports uniform. Now the Olympic gymnastics team from Germany has taken a controversial step further by wearing a statement-making full-length unitards to their qualifying competition to bring more attention to sexism in their sport. Now look at this. Should be we've always been looking at these Olympics and been in these sports and been noticing how they've been becoming more and more naked. To the point now where you have women running in fucking underwear. You got women flipping and tossing and jumping in fucking underwear. Talking panties. Talking full ass cheek. Damn near thongs. And they got to go out in front of every fucking body. Their mother, their father, their cousins, their brothers, everybody in the world. And run up and down the stage and do all types of fucking sports. Now look at these white girls. They like, fuck that. Look at them, full body suits. Why ain't these black? Why couldn't they been wearing full body suits? Why haven't these black girls been able to wear full body suits? I know they uncomfortable. You got to be uncomfortable with some stuff where you got to stick your finger up your ass to pull a damn wedgie out in front of the whole world, or walk around with wedgies because the damn outfit is riding up you. It says we wanted to show that everybody should decide what to wear. That doesn't mean we don't want to wear the normal leotard anymore. It is a decision day by day based on how we feel and what we want. Look at it. They allowed to be fully covered. White women, they allowed to be fully covered and have some type of dignity in what they're doing. But black women, nah, but put them butt ass naked black women out there and have them running around flipping and flopping and jumping and all this and that. Run around tracks with their ass cheek just bouncing. Just all air. There's no covering. Just disgraceful. And they got to run like that and walk around like that in front of everybody. They got to run like that in front of their grandparents, in front of their mom, in front of their dads. In front of their grandparents. And so these German girls, they said, forget that. We're not doing it. So they're allowed to have some type of dignity in doing their sport. They don't have to be fully exposed. Now picture the black women having to do this same pose and position with a damn panty on. This is what they got to go through though. They got to lift their legs and be split wide open, be doing all types of splits with they coochie lips, their private parts popping out. Coming out the damn outfit. They got to worry about their private parts coming out the outfit while they're doing their routine. But the oppressor's not the devil though. He's fine. He's righteous, and this is a Christian country, right? Bullshit. Bullshit. Don't fall for the hype. Don't believe in this American culture, in this American society. You see how they treat our people. You see how they don't care about our people. They abusing black women. Commander Johanna brought this out when there was a ton of black men being abused. Now they done switched the abuse to black women. These cops, with the story we went into earlier, the cops ramming their cars, unmarked cars, up against his sister's car, hopping out, busting windows, grabbing her out, smacking her up against the ground and putting a taser to her neck, and then saying, "Oh, this is the wrong person." Then they drive off and go home, and just left her there, sitting there, stunned and abused. Now you got black women running around, have to run these Olympic Games. They damn near losing their goddamn minds. Simone Biles can't even handle the pressure of stress, and this is it's easy for her. But there's so much hatred, so much pressure, so much stress, so much bullshit they have to deal that our people have to deal with that she can't even focus on the sport. She can't even do what she has to do. She got to run around naked. And then you got these white girls, they get to put some clothes on. But our women got to be all the way half naked and embarrassing them damn selves. Feeling uncomfortable as hell. But you love America. But we have to represent America. But it's the red, white, and blue. Forget America. This is Babylon. This is ancient Egypt all over again. It's time to repent, man. Time to leave these damn nations behind. It's time to separate from these people. It's time to be our own people and leave these heathens behind. This is Israelite World News, Kentucky 8 Podcast, telling you to stay black, stay strong, man. Get down with the UPK. Get down with the school. Go to ishubk.com. Get in class near you. Learn this truth and serve the Most High. With that said, shalom.